several times publicly about coming back to Miami, but just for us, can you talk a little bit about what it's like being back and kind of at this stage of your career in the NBA?
Yeah, I think since I've been back, I think it's been great. And UD kind of was recruiting me ever since I left. And what he kept saying is, I want you to come back and be a part of this next generation with me, is to pass down the knowledge, to pass down the culture that we worked so hard for, through our years there. And now that I'm back, I understand what he's saying. To be around these guys, to be able to pass down that knowledge, the way they look at UD and myself as champions, and the stories they've heard and what they watched from afar, is special. So definitely excited to be back as a leader in the locker room, as a voice in the community, and as a player on the court. The city and the fans have been amazing since I walked back in the building, so it's been great.
Can you talk about your involvement with going to Douglas High School and some of the things you've been doing, and just kind of taking advantage of the platform that you have to help people?
Yeah, it's really understanding the platform. It's really understanding your voice. It's really understanding that it's needed. And the tragedy that happened, in our state was tough on a lot of people. It really hit home around the world to a lot of people. And I got an opportunity when we got back off the road. It was their first full day back to school, and I knew it was going to be a tough day. And I got the opportunity to go in there and surprise them, and just for that moment, for that day, give them something else to talk about, give them some different kind of excitement. I knew everyone was excited about me coming back to the team and to the organization, so I knew that it would be a different form of excitement, and it was special. And then I got an opportunity to sit down with the kids and kind of hear where they at and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish, and understand how aware they are. And it was great for me to sit down and listen to that, because I have a 16-year-old son, and so just to be the face in the community that they feel comfortable enough to come to, sit down to, and say, hey, this is the way that you can help us. I felt great about that, and I want to do my best to be able to not only help the kids at Stoneman, but the kids around the world, the kids in Chicago, the inner city where I come from. They all are screaming the same message, and it's to put the guns down and find a different way and a better way, and stop the gun violence.
Coach Crean has some questions.
Coach Crean has some questions.
He wanted me to ask you if you ever think about the first car that you had that got broken into 3 times, and the third time the damage was more than the car cost. Was this at Marquette, or was this?
Yeah, this was at Marquette. I had a Delta 88, and it didn't cost a lot. I've been using some of my Pell Grant money to buy it, and it stayed in the shop. I never really drove it, and it got broken into over and over and over, to the point that just what it cost to fix the car wasn't enough, so I eventually let it go. So Coach always gave me a hard time.
That car was part of the recruiting process.
That's what I got to go to Marquette, huh?
In all seriousness, so what did you learn about holding guys accountable as teammates, and how has that helped you in the NBA?
Yeah, so I don't know if Coach told this story, but it was my first year. I was sitting out, wasn't playing, and it was a halftime of a game, and our team was playing soft. And Coach came in, and he normally come in, he normally rip guys. So I'm waiting for the explosion. And he came in, he said, Dwayne, stand up. I'm like, for what? And he said, go around and tell these guys how they playing. And I'm sitting there, and I'm a freshman. I'm not playing. I'm not out there with them guys. I'm not in the battle. And he's putting me up there to tell these guys how they playing. And I went in. I said, you playing like this. You're playing like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, you a 2. And I went in on them. And they went out there in the second half. We wound up coming back. I think we was down by like 20. We wound up coming back. You saw the fight. And after the game, I went in and embraced guys that I went at, and I told them how proud I was of them, et cetera. So I think at that moment for me, that's when I learned what it was like to stand up there and take responsibility, not only call a guy out, but also be able to hug a guy and be able to celebrate his success, as well as being on him when they're not doing well. And that was one of the hardest moments for me, because I wasn't playing the game of basketball at that time. But I grew at that moment. I knew that for that team, for Marquette to be successful, Coach was building something in me before I even stepped on the court, and I needed it.
Last thing for me, I don't know if PJ's got anything. Obviously, Marquette's not a small school, but you weren't a household name going into Marquette, where now, you know, if you're a great high school player, everybody's talking about you.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard, kind of the same thing. Small school, not highly recruited. What he's doing right now is, you know, he's playing incredibly right now. Can you just talk about what you've seen in his game and kind of his growth since he came in the league?
Well, I love Dame. You know, I think I tweeted recently about, he said something about him, like, I forget the word he used, but it was like, I might be one. It was something, I was like, take that out. You are one of the best in this game. You are one of the best point guards in this game. You know, he's a special player, and anybody can play the first 3 quarters. But what he's able to do when he do this, that right there is another level. Everyone that plays this game doesn't have that. So, you know, his toughness and his will to be great and want to be great, you see it. You see it every night. You know he works on his game, take care of his body because he's out there every night. So he's a special player. He's one of my favorites to watch.
D1, it's a big one. The coaches know, people that have coached against Spo know, but I still think he's so under the radar, even with all that you guys have accomplished.
Yeah.
You've known him since '03. Like, just talk to me a little bit about his evolution or what you've seen, Eric, when you first met him to the championships and now. Tell people a little bit about him.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Spo, which I can appreciate more now, is getting away from Spo for a year and a half, and now coming back and really seeing him and seeing his growth, you know, and seeing obviously his first year where he was trying to figure everything out, his championship years with, you know, myself, Chris, and LeBron, and the group we had, trying to figure that out, to now he's so confident in his skin, in himself as a leader. And I sit back and I smile because I've seen the growth, and I know that these young players that's sitting here is getting something special that they don't really understand that they're getting right now. I mean, he and his staff are always prepared. You know, they're always going to give us the right game plan. They're going to give us what we need to be successful, and that's how the organization is. And he's definitely the leader of that. You know, and I'm on one end as a player, like I'm sitting here saying I'm proud of him, but I'm proud of his growth and the steps he's taken to be a better coach and to be a better